Welcome back. We have seen that many Jews were killed and persecuted by the Nazi government. It was done step by step in three stages. Stage 1 was exclusion. It was from 1933 to 1939. Exclusion simply meant you have no right to live among us as citizens. The Nuremberg Laws of Citizenship of September 1935 is very important in this regard. According to this law, only persons of German or related blood would henceforth be German citizens enjoying the protection of the German Empire. Marriages between Jews and Germans were forbidden. Extramarital relations between Jews and Germans became crime. Jews were forbidden to fly the national flag. Other legal measures included boycott of Jewish business, expulsion of Jewish people from government services, and forced selling and confiscation of their properties. Besides, Jewish properties were destroyed and looted. Houses were attacked, synagogues were burnt, and men were arrested. Synagogues are the worshipping places of Jewish faith. November 9, 1938, remembered as the night of broken glass. It is because of all the smashed glass that covered the streets from shops that were raided by the Nazis government. On the night of November 9 and 10, 1938, Nazi paramilitary forces along with German civilians targeted Jews throughout Germany and regions it had annexed to it. Over November 9 and 10, almost all German Jewish synagogues, cemeteries, shops, businesses, hotels, theaters, schools, stores, and homes in Germany and Austria were damaged or destroyed. This violence is remembered as the unofficial start of the Holocaust. Stage 2 was the ghettoization. It was from 1940 to 1944. Ghettos were enclosed part of a city set apart as a legally enforced residence area for Jews. The Nazis believed that Germany was a better country than others and that their people's superiority meant they could and should dominate other people. This led Germany to invade and take over other countries before and during World War II. As a result of their anti-Semitic ideology, following the invasion of Poland, the Nazis developed ghettos to segregate and control Jews. The Nazis' false theories were that Jews spread diseases and therefore they should be segregated to protect the rest of the population. Thus, Jews were segregated from other communities. This was in line with their racist beliefs. These ghettos became sites of extreme misery and poverty. This isolated Jews by separating Jewish communities from the non-Jewish population. The Germans established more than 1,000 ghettos in the occupied eastern territories, especially in Poland. From September 1941, all Jews had to wear a yellow Star of David on their breast. This identity mark was stamped on their passport, all legal documents, and houses. Then they were kept in ghettos that became sites of extreme misery and poverty. Jews had to surrender all their wealth before they entered a ghetto. Stage 3 was annihilation. It was from 1941 onwards. It simply meant complete destruction. The German army expanded Hitler's empire in Europe, conquering Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and France. Beginning in 1941, Jews from all over the continent, as well as hundreds of thousands of European gypsies, were transported to the Polish ghettos. In the 1940s, Jews were taken to the gas chambers or death factories. Jews from Jewish houses, concentration camps, and ghettos from different parts of Europe were brought to death factories by goods trains. In Poland and elsewhere in the East under general government, Jews were charred into death in gas chambers. Mass killings took place within minutes with scientific accuracy. All these atrocities were done in the name of racial purification. The Nazis frequently used propaganda to disguise their political aims and deceive the German and international public. They depicted Germany as the victim of allied nations and Jewish aggression. Thus, they could hide their true ideological goals and to justify war and violence against innocent civilians. Now, let us see youth in Nazi Germany. Hitler was interested in the youth of the country. He felt that a strong Nazi society could be established only by teaching children Nazi ideology. Do you know what happened in schools under Nazism? They aimed to de-intellectualize education. That means they did not want education to provoke people to ask questions or think for themselves. They believed this approach would instill obedience and belief in the Nazi worldview, creating the ideal future generation. Nazis wanted their schools to be cleansed and purified. Teachers who were Jews or seen as politically unreliable were dismissed. Germans and Jews were not allowed to sit or play together. Jews, physically handicapped Germans, and gypsies were thrown out of schools. A prolonged ideological training was given for good German students. School textbooks were rewritten. Racial science was introduced to justify Nazi ideas of race. Children were taught to be loyal and submissive, hate Jews, and worship Hitler. Youth organizations were responsible for educating German youth in the spirit of National Socialism. 10-year-old children had to enter Jungwolks. It was an organization for boys aged from 10 to 14 years. It was a section of the Hitler Youth Movement. At the age of 14, boys had to join the Nazi youth organization where they were taught to worship war, glorify aggression and violence, condemn democracy, and hate Jews, communists, gypsies, and all those categorized as undesirable. Later, they joined the labor service at the age of 18 and served in the armed forces and entered one of the Nazi organizations. In 1922, the Youth League of the Nazis was founded. Later, it was renamed as Hitler Youth to unify the youth movement under Nazi control. What was the Nazi ideology of motherhood? In Nazi Germany, children were repeatedly told that women were different from men. According to Nazi view, the fight for equal rights for men and women was wrong and it would destroy society. Boys were taught to be aggressive, masculine, and steel-hearted, and girls were told to become good mothers and rear pure-blooded Aryan children. Girls had to maintain purity of the race, distance from Jews, look after their home, and teach their children Nazi views. But all mothers were not treated equally. Women who produced racially undesirable children were punished, whereas women who produced racially desirable children were awarded. Honor crosses were awarded to encourage women to produce more racially desirable children. Bronze cross for 4 children, silver for 6, and gold for 8 or more. All Aryan women who maintained contact with Jews, Poles, and Russians were punished. They were publicly condemned and paraded through the town with shaved heads, blackened faces, and placards hanging around their necks announcing, "I have sullied the honor of the nation." The art of propaganda. Media was carefully used to win support for the Nazi regime. The art of propaganda that Nazis used was peculiar. They never used the words kill or murder in their official communications. Nazis termed mass killings as special treatment. Final solution was the term used for the Jews. Euthanasia was the term used for the disabled. And selection and disinfections. Evacuation The word evacuation meant deporting people to gas chambers. Gas chambers were labeled as disinfection areas and looked like bathrooms equipped with fake shower heads. Nazis carefully used media to win support for the Nazi regime. Their ideas were spread through visual images, films, radio, posters, catchy slogans, and leaflets. In posters, enemies of Germans such as Jews were mocked, abused, and shown as evil. Propaganda films were made to create hatred for Jews. Orthodox Jews were stereotyped and marked as vermin, rats, and pests. The Nazism worked on the minds of the German people and tuned their hatred and anger at those people who marked as undesirable. The Nazi regime sought to win their support by suggesting that Nazis alone could solve all the problems of German people. How did the common people react to Nazism? German people started seeing the world through Nazi eyes and spoke their Nazi language. Many Germans were influenced by the idea of Nazi. They felt hatred and anger against Jews and genuinely believed Nazism would bring prosperity and improvement in the society. Every German was not a Nazi. Large majority of Germans were passive onlookers. Pastor Neo Müller protested an uncanny silence among ordinary Germans against brutal and organized crimes committed in the Nazi Empire. He is best known for his opposition to the Nazi regime during the late 1930s and for his widely quoted poem First They Came. In this poem, he protested the silence of German passive onlookers. The poem begins like this: First they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. And the poem concludes like this: Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. He sharply criticized Nazi policies and expressed his deep regret about not having done enough to help the victims of the Nazis. Charlotte Barrett's book called The Third Reich of Dreams describes how Jews themselves began believing in the Nazi stereotypes about them. The stereotypical images publicized in the Nazi press haunted the Jews and troubled them even in their dreams. Knowledge about the Holocaust. Holocaust is a word of Greek origin meaning sacrifice by fire. The Holocaust was a process that started with discrimination against Jewish people and ended with millions of people being killed. It was a process that became increasingly brutal over time. The Holocaust was the systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of many millions of Jews by the Nazi regimes and its allies and collaborators. Soldiers of allies, that is Britain, the US, the Soviet Union and their allies fighting against Germany in World War II, made their way across areas of Europe controlled by the Nazis. They began to discover the concentration camps. As it became clear that the Nazis were going to be defeated in the Second World War, the Nazis tried to hide the evidence of their crimes by destroying the camps. The Second World War ended and Germany was defeated. When they lost the war, the Nazi leadership distributed petrol to its functionaries to destroy all crucial evidence of Holocaust available in offices. While Germans were preoccupied with their own plight, after the Second World War, the Jews wanted the world to remember the atrocities and sufferings they had endured during the Nazi killing operations called the Holocaust. Jews collected and preserved documents, wrote diaries, kept notebooks, and created archives. The Allies held the Nuremberg trials of 1945 and 46 to punish the Nazi villains of the Holocaust. On 11th December 1946, the General Assembly of the United Nations ruled that genocide would be a crime under international law. Adolf Hitler killed himself before the end of the war, so it was not possible to bring him to justice. Jewish people did not have a homeland. Many Holocaust survivors found strangers living in their homes and or were unable to find somewhere they could live. Countries did not want to welcome such a great number of refugees. Increasing pressure on the Allied powers to create a homeland for Jewish survivors of the Holocaust led to the creation of Israel in 1948. I think what happened during the Second World War and the concentration camp is a disgrace to the human race. There are still many situations that occur around the world similar to the Holocaust that many of us are unaware of. There are sins of commission and sins of omission to which we are held equally responsible. The study of the Holocaust helps us to understand the concepts such as democracy, dictatorship, propaganda, collaboration, resistance, intervention, and genocide. Studying the behavior of individuals during the Holocaust in a historical context allow us to consider what power citizens had at that particular time. It can also help us to consider what power citizens have today. It also gives us the opportunity to reflect on the importance of our participation as citizens. It is important to be tolerant of other people's beliefs and differences and not to exclude people or spread message of hate. Never forget the events of the Holocaust so that we can try to stop anything like it from happening again. The history and the memory of the Holocaust live on in memories, fiction, documentaries, poetry, memorials, and museums in many parts of the world today. These are a tribute to those who resisted it. It's an embarrassing reminder to those who collaborated and a warning to those who watched in silence. Hope this session has helped you to frame an idea about Nazism and the rise of Hitler as a dictator. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you. Thank you for watching.